Welcome to the Business Boys Talkin Business Virtual Power Lunch. Please welcome your hosts, Tyler Price and Brian Magleby.
Hey, that guy kind of sounds familiar.
I know.
It's like he's standing right back there, but not voicing it. So
a radio voice with a TV face.
That's right.
This guy.
I'm sure we
is the full package.
We have to joke about Jeremy and his EQ looks and his amazing voice. So we appreciate he is the voice that introduces us each and every week, and we've got him on as a guest today in Talkin Business. So. Going to be a great show today. I'm excited to talk with Jeremy and then the training topic. Of course, we put this on for BBSI, a little training topic on employee reviews. So stay tuned at the end of the show. We've got some great tips and tricks for doing some employee reviews.
Yeah. Well, and how about thanks to our sponsors, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Which Jeremy's one of them. The main one right there in the middle, BBSI. Couldn't do the show without them. We appreciate their support throughout the year. And
Bullpine Marketing, they do a great job of keeping us our website up and going. And,
it is.
And
just got off the phone with Ryan, and he's been very appreciative of the sponsorship and the business that it's brought into him. Absolutely a great marketing company. If you need help with your website, SEO, anything online, digital online marketing, he is the guru.
Yeah. And SBDC, right? We like those guys.
Can't beat the SBDC, the biggest hidden what?
Hidden secret in all of Idaho.
That's right. If you want some free business consulting, go to idahosbdc.org. And we'll give you a call. And we'd love to help you out with some free business coaching. Of course, the Idaho Innovation Center. And last, but certainly not least,
that New Line guy,
the New Line guy
Media,
standing right there
Tyson.
behind all of the monitors. We appreciate Tyson Bolcom with New Line Media and really stepping it up this last part of the year and helping us produce a great show. If you need any video work, he's the man to go to. Look up New Line Media, Tyson Bolcom. So he's does some phenomenal work. So last week we had Drake.
Yeah, Drake from the mall.
Drake
malls
Taylor.
are not dying. At least Idaho Falls' mall's not dying.
Absolutely.
Not all malls can say that.
Some
but Drake,
great things going,
he's got some good vision, or great vision going on there. And it'll be interesting to see the new tenant that's taking Macy's spot. Hopefully that'll get announced
will be
soon.
Introduced here soon. So but it's exciting. If you haven't been to the mall, now's the time to go with the holiday season upon us. And by the way, did you eat any turkey?
I had a little bit of turkey. I did ribs too, though.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I think I'm, went on vacation and then had Thanksgiving. So I think I'm like 18 pounds up right now.
Well, whatever. I haven't seen you post that for a little bit.
Yeah,
so
no. I
must have gone the wrong direction.
My
direction. So good. Well, hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving. And we, as we said, we're excited. We had a great show last week with Drake Taylor. We got some. I've been working on the next 3 shows to round out the end of the year for the 7th, 14th, and 21st. And we've got 3 big-time executives coming. Exciting people are going to be on the show in the last to end us out for the rest of the 2021 year. So we are excited for what we have coming up here. And our viewing audience should be excited too. Because big names in the area that we will have on Talkin Business. So let's, we're going to show a quick little video here, only 44-second video that kind of describes a little bit about what BBSI does nationwide. And we're going to show that video, and then we'll welcome the one and only Jeremy Hicks.
Yeah. Well, yeah, BBSI. saving lives, right?
Saving lives.
Yeah. Awesome. And you've been with BBSI for how long now?
10.5 years.
Wow,
now.
for a minute.
And we're sitting right outside of BBSI.
Yeah,
that's
just,
fantastic.
It looks like
amazing.
you are right there. Is that the new office?
That is the new office.
Wow,
Yep.
Yeah.
impressive! I knew the wood looked good, but the windows didn't. So
I just like walking in the place and grabbing a soda out of the fridge and leaving. So
That's fine.
I encourage that.
I
those of
encourage
you
anybody
that
to come by. Free
Oh,
sodas and a little,
yeah,
business
snacks.
strategy.
Yeah.
that's right. You do
HR
have
while
to
you're
enter their
there.
conference room, and you may be locked in there to talk about your business if you decide to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've all been, I think, stopped by for a little Diet Coke action.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So good. Well, tell us about what's the latest and greatest with BBSI.
Yeah, it's been a fun year. So we made it through. Well, we're still in.
Still,
but
yeah, we're-
some challenges there. But
Variant 3.
yeah, we're to variant 3 now.
Yeah.
But it's been an interesting ride because we were able to help a lot of clients through all of that chaos and mayhem, and that was fun to do. And I think we were able to really add some value and help some clients through that. And then this year it's been really all about growth. I mean, we've added a significant amount of new clients, which has been fun. Some really cool relationship we've been able to build with some of those clients and working with them and what we're doing. A lot more leadership development. So some of our clients have been bigger clients with managers, supervisors, and that's been fun to work on that level of stuff with clients.
Yeah. Jared Oviatt is just amazing at doing some of those things. I tell you, he recently taught a class at the Innovation Center and just knocked it out of the park. The guy is great.
Yeah, he's doing a phenomenal job. It's been fun to have him on board and just seeing, as clients are pushing to grow. One of the things that we always see is they bring people up into supervisor roles, and then they think it's going to solve all their problems, right? And then they're like, well, wait, why are the employees still coming to me, and why is the supervisor handling the situation? And we realize, like, hey, maybe we didn't teach people how to lead, right? And so it's been fun to jump in on some of that stuff and help business owners develop that management team they have. So that's been cool.
Very good. Well, you've also done some expansion over. BBSI has always been in Boise area, and then you've done some expansion into the central part of the state. Tell us about that expansion.
Yeah, so I've also taken over our Twin Falls location. So we
wearing
had
2 hats.
Yes,
two big boss hats.
I had to buy me a hybrid so I could make the drive. But I go over there every week and just working on developing that market. We've had an office there, but there's just a ton of opportunity, ton of potential there, and so we're really trying to grow and expand in that market. The staffing side of our business is a profitable. It's a good part of our business, and in Twin, with all of the food processing that's happening there in those plants, there's a huge opportunity for us there. So we're really trying to develop that, as well as the HR and the business strategy side too.
Because you got some major players over there in Chobani, and then Cliff Bar, I believe, is over there, and other things like that.
A lot of Twin Falls is right behind Wisconsin in milk production, so the dairies and everything that comes out. We work with a lot of the cheese plants. Over there. Lambia's got like 9 different locations in that market, and there's several others. Right Stuff Foods and some of those that are doing different food production. So a big market for that. Some great opportunity for us to grow and expand there. So
some of your services then, more than because people look at you and say, okay, they're going to help process payroll and they're going to make sure I have employees. But it sounds like at some point, and maybe it was in the beginning, it was how do we help these businesses be stronger so that we have a long-term relationship. Is that fair to say in terms of one of your strategies?
Yeah, and it doesn't matter like if it's staffing, recruiting, HR, payroll, safety. What we learned, and this has been a journey for us too, but what we learned is we could go into a business, right, and say, hey, you need to be compliant and you need to be safe and you need to do these things, right? And there was some value to that. But what we've learned over time is if we don't really try to truly understand what the ownership is trying to get done, then we're not really well aligned with their goals.
Going on their agenda, not your agenda.
Yeah, and every client's coming in, with our new clients, they're coming in at different stages in game, right?
Yeah.
So some of them are brand new startups, some of them have been around for 30 years. And so you've got to kind of meet them where they're at and understand, hey, what's working and what's not working. And a good entrepreneur, a good business owner is always trying to improve, right?
Yeah.
So it's trying to understand where they're trying to go. Maybe they're looking at, an exit strategy and trying to build towards that. Maybe the culture is a little off. Right now, we're obviously dealing with an employee crisis,
Yeah.
right? With the great resignation, and that's a struggle. And so trying to meet them where they're at and then align our team of the business strategy, the HR and safety and the payroll and the recruiting with what their needs really are.
Okay.
And that's been just more effective. I mean, we just seen clients really see a lot more value in that approach because I just left, we had a couple of clients in there working with the owner and their management team on culture, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was the focus. You could see it drawn up on the whiteboards in the room, and that's just what they were talking about. So
what are you seeing then? Because if you take one side, you got employer, the other side, you've got employee, and there's been a renaissance of sorts of, you called it the Great Resignation,
Yeah.
which is out. I've heard that as well. So then you've got BBSI kind of in the middle saying, you're a knucklehead, this is where we need to live. Is that an unfair statement? And then what is that, this is where we need to live to coexist? Like, how do you get people to work?
yeah, no, it's a great question, and I get asked it often.
Yeah.
But what I've been telling a lot to people is the one thing that I think we will look back on this and see is a couple of things. One is that we had to work on becoming better employers.
Yeah, amen.
A little bit of force.
Yeah,
To
sometimes
forced
it
into
takes
that.
that, right?
Second is I saw some great innovation and things happen through COVID because if you were a restaurant owner or a barber or others, right, you had to figure out how to adapt, change, and we saw some kind of cool things happen through that, and we have to look at this employee crisis in the same manner. Like, we can't just keep doing the same thing. So what are we going to innovate and do differently? Sometimes, I've got some potato folks that are automating, right? They're like, I can replace employees
Yeah.
with this robot, right?
Yeah.
I've got others that are saying, hey, instead of a 12-hour shift, maybe I need to do some different shifts. Maybe I need an 8-hour. Maybe I could just do a 4-hour. We've got clients doing a student shift because they realized there was a market out there of students after school that could work for 4 to 6 hours, and they're good employees, right? And they can pay them well, and they'll add value to that. So I can have an 8-hour shift and then a 4-hour shift instead of 112, or whatever that innovation is for you. I think it's just important we've got to adapt and change. We can't just go, nobody wants to work, right?
Yeah.
And we're kind of hearing that a little bit, and that's not true.
That's not
because
true.
unemployment's the lowest it's been in a long, long time.
Yeah. So how are we going to deal with this? I think it was 2.8 unemployment here, 2.2 in Utah.
Yeah.
That just absolutely, I think they're one of the lowest in the whole country.
Yeah.
What can employers do? You drive down the road, and almost everyone's has signs up.
Yes, they do. Well, first of all, you call BBSI.
Yeah, that's it. First step.
See if we can help you there. Second is, it just goes back to what I just said. You've got to really look inside and not just say this generation, this, that. You've got to look inside and say, why would somebody want to work for me, right? I'm doing this, like, this is a constant thing that I spend a lot of time on, right? So, like, if I go through the drive-through, I'm sitting there thinking in my head, why does that person want to work at this fast food restaurant? Why are they there? Maybe they don't want to be, but they're there working, right?
Yeah.
And there's people in certain industries you would think, well, if this is the case, right, why are people still working there?
Yeah.
And it's doing a little bit of industry and case study on your own to figure out why, and why is somebody working there? And it's certainly about wages. Like, we've seen wage inflation, and
Unbelievable.
we can't be at $8 and $9 an hour and expect a lot. And I realize for certain industries that's tough, right?
Yeah.
We've got a big daycare problem in our world because daycare's traditionally paid a little bit less. Some of them closed during COVID. So now we're balancing out, like, well, if it costs me this much for daycare, maybe I just not work, right?
Yeah.
So we've lost some people through that process. And so you've got to kind of look at all options. Maybe you're in an organization, a company that could assist with daycare.
Yeah.
There's FSAs. There's companies that actually have opened their own daycares. I mean, there's things that can offset some of that cost for your employees. It's getting creative. I mean,
It is.
we're gonna have to get creative with it, and then really looking at your culture, right?
Yeah.
You know, if you're struggling with in getting feedback, we're gonna talk about that a little bit, I understand, but like you got to listen to the employees and listen to what their needs and their concerns are, and try to match that. And gone are the days of like, well, I pay you, so you show up and work, right? Like,
Way gone.
Which is good.
right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, we are in an environment and a culture where, and you can say this however you want. I'm going to say it the nice way.
Yeah.
We're in an environment, a culture where it's an employee market, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to look at what their needs are, what they want, and try to fill that as best as you can. And I realize like that's a challenge.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not, but you've got to look at ways to be able to do that, and understand really why does somebody want to work.
I read an article and it talked about, which is very sad, the number of people that have passed because of COVID, and that number has exceeded 800,000. So you take that out of the workforce too. I don't know, does that impact what you're trying to accomplish when you're all of a sudden you're losing almost 1 million Americans out of the workforce because of this disease?
Yeah, certainly. And not only those, but you got to look at, we've lost a significant amount of those that were nearing retirement because with all the chaos that COVID caused and them being a more vulnerable population, they just, you know, if they were getting close, they said, I'm out, right? I'm going to retire. Again, the daycare issue, we've lost a lot of folks in there. And then really what happened too is a lot of people were at home evaluating their existence in life, right?
Yeah.
They're like, what am I doing? Why am I working at that job that I don't love? So they've started businesses. You've seen a lot of people jump in and try to start businesses. We've had a fairly good influx of money into the economy. And so people were able to manage through that. And the bank's got a lot of money right now. So lending's increased. So there's just an opportunity, right? And so we've seen a lot of different avenues where people have exited out of the workforce and have kind of left, you know, the employer going, whoa, where is everybody? And you're seeing it, right? I mean, you go to the restaurant and service is bad, or they're closing early, or wherever. Retail's, you know, struggle to find good customer service. And the last thing I'll say on that is this supervisor thing is a big deal. And it just seems to be coming up more and more. One of the number one reasons why somebody stays at a job is because they like who they work for.
Wow. Yeah.
And I mean, if you ask
Listen
people,
up, business owners, to that quote right there.
So you may have the supervisor, you know, you might have your superintendent that gets crap done, but nobody likes.
Yeah.
So they never have a team. Maybe you need to reevaluate, or maybe they need some coaching, right? Whatever that looks like, you might have to change some things up of how you've always done it.
Well, and to one of your points, as you said, as you're going through a drive-through, why does that person want to work here? Now go through 2 different drive-throughs in Idaho Falls. This is a challenge for both of you and everybody. Go through Burger King's drive-through, and then go through Chick-fil-A's drive-through. What's the difference? And I don't know that I have the answer. All I can say is Chick-fil-A's freaking figured it out, right? And not only is it a drive-through, it's actually multiple drive-throughs through one window. And those kids are all smiles, and the whole, I mean, is Chick-fil-A owned by high school kids? I don't even know anymore. I mean, anyway, but to that point.
But no, it's a great point. And my assumption there, which I see a lot, is people like having expectations set, and they like being trained, and they like to know that they're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Right?
Obviously, they're getting that.
And when you, like, I'll see this with the staffing side, like, somebody will call and say, hey, I need some people to come and do this for a week, right? And these are people that have never worked for that person, right? And we drop these 5 people in there, and they call and they're like, this, you know, 2 of these people are just sitting around. I'm like, oh, well, tell me more about that.
Yeah.
What have you told them to do? What is their expectation? Well, I told them to go move that pile of this, right? Well, like,
then what?
Like they might not fully understand, right? Like, and I realize sometimes that feels like, I just got to babysit these people. It sucks. And da, 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 da. But you're putting people in situations where the training side, right? Even down to the point of Chick-fil-A, this is what you say, and this is, we are not in the South here in Idaho Falls, but when you go to Chick-fil-A, you get called sir and ma'am, and you feel like you are, right?
Yeah.
So there's specific training that's happening there, and an expectation that this is how you do it. And to be honest, like I said, people actually like that.
Yeah.
Because they know they're doing it the right way. They're not wondering, am I doing this right? Am I doing so really clear expectations is a good thing.
Well, BBSI is by far the top dog here in this area, and I loved when I asked you about the unemployment rate that you said the first immediate comeback was to call BBSI. So talk about what are some of the services that people can go. I mean, if you're an entrepreneur out there and you need employees, take that advice. That is absolutely phenomenal. They can help you find those employees.
Yeah, so I've got a dedicated recruiting team, and this is what I tell everybody is, yes, there's a cost, right? But what's the cost? What are you missing out on by not having the right people or people at all, right? Yeah. And so when you look at that and what that looks like, you're good at what you're doing. You're good at offering your product or service. And I even tell my own recruiting team this because it's been a challenge, right? Like it's hard to find people, right? And I tell them this. I said, here's the deal though. You guys are focused on this all day long. Like, this is your product or service. So change your mindset of what if you owned a restaurant, or what if you owned a bar, like how would you adapt and change, right? And they've done some cool things. We're doing some cool things on social media. We're doing some cool things of just testimonials and things like that to get people interested in coming in and applying. The one thing that we're noticing in this market is, this kind of goes back to the drive-through and some of those things, is sometimes people don't know how to job search. Yeah. And you would think, well, that's not hard. Like, and maybe for you and I, that wouldn't be, right? Yeah. But it's scary to go talk to somebody, to stop in, to send a resume. We've created monstrous like online application processes, which that's a whole nother topic, but you should get rid of all of those and just like say, text me. Yeah. And I'll call you about our job. Right. Yeah. So, that process has to be simple, but I think that the way that we're really structuring is let us take the searching out of job search. Yeah. So we get a lot of people that just come in and say, help me, right? Yeah. What do I got? The benefit to you as an employer, entrepreneur is you can stay focused on what you need to be, right? And selling your product and service and producing and getting that out. Let us do that.
And if the person doesn't work out, then you can go to a plan B, and it's not like you have a huge amount of things invested in that. You can let one go and go right to the next one if that person's doesn't fit what they need and stuff like that.
Yeah, and we really try to do a good job of matching that up. But it's not a perfect science, right? Yeah. And when I say that, I mean, a lot of people think like temps, right? Like production labor. This year we placed controllers, we've placed office managers, we've placed a lot of administrative. So it's not just, production labor. That is a big chunk of what we do. And there is a need for that out there. But even if your business is has this key position, you've got a sales position that you really need to fill, or you've got, accounting, or you've got, whatever, we're good at and that's what I did. I mean, I did that for 10 years, owned a recruiting headhunting business. And so we've got some methods and technologies. Again, that's our product and service, right? So we know how to kind of go out and source people and find people. And a lot of times
at all levels,
it's passive candidates, right? Yeah. Some of these people aren't necessarily out applying to your ad on Indeed. Yeah. They're sitting there going, I don't really like my boss anymore, and if something better came up, man, I'd sure look at it. And then boom, we call. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So you are sitting there working with businesses at all different levels. So what kind of sector do you see that's kind of exciting to you? Because I have a personal love for ag, even though I don't work in ag. I love like guys like Will Ricks are out, cutting hay and shipping it to China and doing very innovative, right? And the list can go on and on and on. But what's some of the sectors that you see that you've been working with even this year that kind of pique your interest, or that you say, wow, that's an exciting, what's happening in that part is very exciting?
Yeah, no, we're pretty diverse in industries as far as we take on, because really there's not one industry that fits BBSI. It's if you're in business and you have employees, then there's a potential need for our services at some level, right? But this year's been interesting. We've seen more restaurant
Yeah.
and some bigger restaurant groups come in. We've seen a little bit more on the manufacturing side. There's certainly a lot more going on in the online space and selling online. And you've got some kind of hidden companies that a lot of people don't know
about,
what
yeah.
they do or
Yeah.
where they're at. We've been able to source some of those, and that's kind of been fun to learn those industries. But also we do a lot in the construction and the trades.
Yeah.
That's been kind of fun to see and help some of those. The trades and PCs are, they get kind of a bad rap
Yeah.
a lot of times, and it's been a tough run for them. They're so busy that
The pool is small to
yeah.
choose from in
Yeah.
that area.
Yeah.
So
even in my own world, I'm like working on my house, and you're calling these people, and they're like, well, I can get you windows, but I don't have anybody to install them.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like, oh, that's
drop
rough.
them off.
And I'm like, well, hey, I've got this company that we could help you out with.
That's right.
Finding some installers. But,
yeah.
it's been a rough run for them. But the kicker, again, is to get out of your own way and stop running in chaos and build a company instead of I'm out there, as an electrician, putting outlets in the wall. Like, you can build a company, right? You just got to figure out and put some structure around it. To take yourself out of the doing part and be a leader and run an organization. And that's really where I think we can add a lot of value.
Yeah.
So it's been fun to work with kind of some of those trades and in the construction world and helping them do that.
Well, the man, the myth, the legend of BBSI here in Eastern Idaho. He has the golden voice. He has the golden hair. He has the golden body. He's just got everything going for him. This man, Jeremy Hicks, with BBSI. If your business needs any kind of assistance with human resource, you got to go check out BBSI. This beautiful building that they just moved 100 yards across the parking lot. They moved over. They're down in Snake River Landing. This is a copy of their building, and we are excited to have BBSI. They have a great representation here in the area. Jeremy, is there anything else that you wanted the audience to know about BBSI?
No, the only thing else I would say is it's pretty hard. Like, we have all of our clients get a team of people, right?
Yeah.
And it's for a very fair price. And so when you think about, if I've got 15, 20, 100 employees, I'm probably not going out and hiring a safety professional, an HR professional, and a payroll specialist, and paying a business consultant to come in and help me. Like, you add that up, right?
It's an unbelievable package. No other company can offer that kind of people.
So, I mean, you're getting a whole team of people that really is invested in your success and cares about you and your business, and really tries to understand what you're doing, where you're going. And then all of those disciplines are helping you get there in different areas, right? So, I mean, it's everything from, the finding and recruiting we talked about to, like, let's figure out your policies and procedures and write a good employee handbook or a safety program. But then it's also like, you got a new idea, let's sit down in our office and talk about what it would look like and brainstorm on it, right? So it's that consultative approach, but with some disciplines behind it, which is kind of a unique model that's really not out there.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, whenever you guys either have an event there or even at your open house, when you go in, the men and women that you have working there, they're
top notch,
super smart,
Mike,
engaging,
Royce,
fun to talk with.
Everybody.
I mean, it's just, anyway, you're doing cool stuff.
A good leader surrounds himself with good employees, and I'll tell you, Jeremy is the top in that area. He's got just an absolutely phenomenal team. When he says he'll bring in a team that can help you in all those different areas, he does have that. Absolutely a phenomenal business here in Eastern Idaho, and we appreciate you being a sponsor of the Business Boys Talkin Business Lunch.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You made it happen this year. So,
you did.
Yeah.
So we appreciate that. So talk to us about this this quote that you have here.
Yeah. So a lot of people find things difficult to do or to get done, right? And a lot of times it's because they won't persistently create a habit around it, right? So I just love this quote. It's on my phone. I changed my phone up a little bit so I have something, but this one is, that which we persist in doing becomes easier to do, not that the nature of the thing has changed, but that our power to do has increased. And so, stick with it. You know, I mean, I see people that, you know, or get bogged down or struggling with something, but they'll only do it a couple of times and then they, you know,
Yeah.
I got 5 kids, so
Yeah.
you know, with kids this happens a little bit. And it's like, nah, be persistent with it and it will become easier.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Great job. Appreciate Jeremy Hicks being here from BBSI and the great insight that he has into the employment situation here in Eastern Idaho and Southern Idaho. Now
Yeah.
he's managing the office over in Twin Falls as well, so wearing a couple big hats there. So we love BBSI. We highly recommend them and encourage you to check them out wherever you're at. They have locations Utah, Idaho. Got a guy in the room here from North Carolina training with them, and so they've got a great company. So thank you, Jeremy. So let's go ahead and transition right into our training topic. So we're gonna actually watch a quick video here about employee reviews. It's a quick, I think, 2.5-minute video, and talking about employee reviews, and then we'll come back and have Jeremy give us some of his insight into what is must-dos with employee reviews.
Conducting the performance review conversation can be challenging, both for you as a leader as well as for the employee. The employee may be concerned that they're going to be sitting in the hot seat and get judged. They might also worry about how the performance appraisal could affect the potential for them to get a raise. You might be concerned that your feedback can cause them to get emotional or defensive or even argumentative. That's why it's really helpful to have a plan in place when going into this conversation. So I'm going to share with you 7 tips to confidently have the performance review conversation. Tip number 1, don't ad lib. Use the forms that have been provided by your company for the performance review conversation. Number 2, make sure your employee gets to prepare the exact same forms so that you can be on the same page and there's no surprises for them. You don't want them to be frustrated when suddenly they feel like they're being judged for something that they just weren't expecting. Number 3, don't just dive in and get to business. Build some rapport. Set the tone by asking them how their week went. Thank them for showing up to the meeting and maybe discuss something like how their family is doing or any vacation plans they might have. Number 4, before you give your feedback, first allow them in each category to tell you how they felt their performance was in the past year. Tell them where you agreed with their performance opinions, and then tell them where you may have differed. This is an important phrase. Instead of saying disagree or allowing room for any kind of argument, just say, I appreciate your feedback on that. I would agree you did a great job with X, Y, and Z. Where my opinion differs a bit is, and then give the example. Number 6, when giving feedback, make sure you'll use only observable facts, not assumptive judgments. You don't want to say something like, Mike, it really seems like you've checked out and you don't even care anymore this past quarter. Instead, say something like, I've noticed you've been tardy 3 times out of the last 4 weeks, and in most of the meetings in the last 2 weeks, you've really only participated once. What can you tell me about this? This gives them an opportunity to share their side and really explain what might be going on with them. Which leads us to number 7. They may become defensive or argumentative. If so, as challenging as it may be, allow them the time to vent and listen to what they have to say. No need to prescribe an answer, just listen, and if necessary, ask them to share a little bit more. Want an even deeper dive on how to conduct the performance review conversation? Head over to livingasaleader.com/shop and check out our performance management e-learning bundle. In this 2-part course, we not only talk about the conversation, but we also discuss how to set goals with your employee and how to coach them throughout the year. For even more tips like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel or go to livingasaleader.com and subscribe to our blog. Thanks for watching.
Good info there, and so let's kind of wrap up the show today. And now we're heading into we're 1 day away from December. Usually people will do employee reviews toward the end of the year. It's a good timing to do them, and we put some things up here on the screen here that is crucial for you to do, and these are some of them are pretty generic, but. So as a human resource company, what do you find is the most important things with doing employee reviews?
Well, your list is pretty good there. I mean, one thing that we see a lot of is an annual review is not enough, right? So we've got a couple of generations coming into the workplace that are pretty used to constant feedback. And you guys kind of heard me talk about this before, but like you got Power School where you check their grades. Like I know if my kid's missing an assignment. My parents didn't know if I was I was flunking a class until like midterm, right? Like I could check my grade, like my kids' grades. You know, they're on social media. They post something on Instagram. They get immediate feedback. Oh, you're so cute. You're hot. Whatever, right?
Yeah,
So like they're used to immediate feedback, and then we're going to talk to them once a year and give them feedback. And it just doesn't jive. So you know, you've got to do it on a regular basis. But then if you don't have any expectations set, and so you're number two, there are set goals, right? You don't have anything to review.
They're just showing up.
They're showing up, and you're like, hey, good job.
Yeah.
You know, like you need to be specific and have expectations set, and then tell them if they're meeting those expectations, exceeding, or maybe they're not meeting them, right?
Yep.
If you do it once a year, you're probably going to get asked for a raise once a year, right?
Yeah.
If you're doing them regularly, it becomes part of the conversation.
I think that when employees come on board, the best thing is to meet with them on a weekly basis and then get down to a monthly, then quarterly, then semi-annual. And for those employees that have been there for 10, 15 years, then you might be able to get to an annual basis. But really, you got to have that consistency of doing it and setting goals with each time. Do you have the second page, Tyson, on we have a form. I have a form that it was on the bottom of that page. I didn't know if we have it, but we have a form. If you need help with a form, put your email address in the chat, or you can, we'll have him put up my email at the end of the show, and we'll send you some examples of some forms to use so that you do it on a consistent basis. And the forms that I like have it so that both the employee reviews himself, and then the supervisor does it as well. And I have it on a scale of 1 to 5. And how I tell them is, if there's ever a discrepancy of more than 1 on that, what the employer thinks that they're higher than what the employer does, then you need to take a timeout and talk about why do you think you're better and I think you're worse. Or it could be the exact opposite. I have quite a few of my employees that rate themselves so low. It's like, dude, give yourself some credit.
Yeah.
You've done an excellent job in this area, and you got to set the goals there. Use the review form customized for your business, and I have multiple different forms, but if you would like that, just shoot me an email. Document progress between reviews. I have one file in my drawer with all my employee reviews, and I look at those and we document them every single time. I'm down with my employees have been there for 5 years, most of them, and we meet on a quarterly basis. And so that's what makes it so it's consistent. So right there on the form on the screen is an example of one of the, I have 2 or 3 different forms, and I can send you all of them. But this one here, you can see, has the employee evaluate themselves and the supervisor, has them set goals and talks about their progress that they made. And then you redo those goals every time you meet with them. So absolutely some crucial things that you need to do. And I set the precedence up with mine that don't come into every single review asking for a raise. That's not what these are all about. They're for your performance. And then set the expectations that you can ask for a raise, semi-annually or annually.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on. I think the other thing is you've got solicit feedback and listen.
Yep.
Make sure that they are able to give you feedback about your performance, but also if they have the tools and resources to be successful. Because sometimes, as we're rating somebody, they may end up low on that scale. And as we dig into it, we may find out we really haven't given them training, the stapler, the tools, resources to really be able to get it done. And that's why they're underperforming. And that's not fair to them, right? Now, we hope that they'll come and I need this, but sometimes they won't, right? Yeah. And so sometimes they're underperforming because of that. And you need to make sure of that. The other thing is, if you got somebody that's consistently, Dave Ramsey will talk about don't shoot your wounded, right? You got somebody that's underperforming, and maybe in this area, as you're digging into it, maybe there's something going on personally. And if you can help them through that, it develops a ton of loyalty for you as the business owner or the supervisor. Help them through situations, understand why the performance is there. Sometimes it's just not performing.
Yeah.
It's not doing it, not getting enough done, not being persistent. but sometimes there's something else going on.
Yeah.
Dig into that.
So great. Final one there, solicit feedback and listen. And that's, if you can do anything in these meetings, that's what you need to do. And if I could add anything, it would be like Jeremy said, give them some compliments on what they're doing. Point them in the right direction. As supervisors, that's your job, is to take them in the right direction. So thank you, Jeremy, for the feedback. It's been, this is awesome to go into the last month of the year. And we highly recommend that if you haven't met with your employees for a while, get it done.
Yeah, amen.
So great. Let's talk about next week on the show. We have a company that is not been heard of a lot in this area, but they're out of Rigby. Company called Avercast, and I've recently spent some time working with the owner of Avercast. They've got some big, exciting things happening. They are, and we're in a huge supply chain issues. If you turn on the news, you will guarantee hear the word supply chain, and that's what they do, is manage companies' supply chains. And it's going to be really interesting to see with all the, some people didn't even know what supply chain was as of 6 months until 6 months ago, until all the
everybody's learned.
Everybody has definitely knows the word supply chain, and that's what they've been doing for years. They've got a phenomenally, can't believe how big this company is here in this area. And we're excited to have the CVO, Executive Vice President of the company out of the Rigby area that will be on the show, and a great training topic next month about valuing your business. If you ever want to sell your business, it's going to be a good training topic on that next week. So thank you again, BBSI, for their sponsorship this year. We appreciate their sponsorship, and look forward to seeing you everybody next week on Talkin Business. Give us a thumbs up, Jeremy. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.
Idaho Innovation Center, taking your business to the next level. The Idaho Innovation Center is a business incubator located in eastern Idaho, providing resources to companies where entrepreneurs can confidently and aggressively start and grow their small business through collaboration, education, mentoring, and shared resources. Here's what some tenants of the Idaho Innovation Center have said. The classes they hold at the Idaho Innovation Center have proven to be invaluable for my business and its growth. The Idaho Innovation Center has given my business the support when needed in areas of business strategy, marketing, networking, and growth opportunities. An innovative tenant said, "The training and mentoring has helped us accomplish things we would never have done on our own. Thank you." And a technology client said, "The Idaho Innovation Center has been a perfect partner for our startup. The staff is focused on taking business to the next level, and we have." And finally, I would recommend the Idaho Innovation Center as the best resource to either start or grow your business in eastern Idaho. The Idaho Innovation Center, stimulating entrepreneurial spirit and innovation through business growth and development in eastern Idaho. At the Idaho Innovation Center, entrepreneurs can confidently grow their business through networking and educational opportunities with experienced business professionals. There is access to many free amenities, including one-on-one business mentoring and advising through the Small Business Development Center, conference room usage, and reception services. Everything we do at the Idaho Innovation Center is designed to help keep costs down and energy up for growth-oriented businesses.
Let the Idaho Innovation Center take your business to the next level.